the creation station. I'm working on our monthly custom built decor challenge. The project this month is a swimming pool, so I'm gonna see uh, how far along we can get with this today. I'll do a quick reload UI just to get everything kind of working like it's supposed to. I'm gonna reduce the size of these a bit so it's not like blindingly bright. Want some light above it, but we don't want it, burning our eye sockets out. There we go. That's a little bit better. It's the only problem with using the sky option that has the day-night rotation. It's inevitably while you're building, it goes into the night phase, and it can be kind of frustrating trying to build when you can't see squat. Okay, so we've got the tiles that we were adding around the edge, just mostly kind of as a decoration, just to kind of break up the monotony of the orange floors. But you could go all tile if you want. It's very possible you could have went all tile for the entire interior part of it if you wanted. But for the size of the tile, that would require an enormous amount of floors, and it's bad enough I'm going to be doing it just for the trim because it's going to eat up a lot of floor count. Now, with this particular plot, that's not that big of an issue, but for those that are wanting to build something like this, you're probably going to want to scale this down considerably, maybe make one half the size that I have. This is more like an Olympic-sized pool, and if I decide, I could eventually just shrink it up a bit, but I just kind of matched it to the size of the building, so it probably wasn't the best idea, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. But for those that aren't familiar, I do a monthly challenge for my guild, and every month the theme is different, and we just kind of spend the majority of the month building on little projects like this, and just to kind of, those that are enthusiastic about the housing system, it's a way for them to kind of keep their brains kind of exercise, their imagination kind of playing around with new ideas. Because sometimes, when you're into the building, you'll set yourself a theme, and then you kind of get stuck with that theme. It's kind of, you get into a rut. You can kind of keep repeating a lot of the things that you do over and over. If you find a way to make a nice couch, then you kind of repeat that. Not just it's okay to repeat it in the same build, but like when the next time you do a fresh build, you start doing the same things that you did before, and that's okay. But I also like to encourage folks to try new things, because they might surprise themselves with what they can come up with, and they might, it's always nice to have other things that you can add to your, I don't know, repertoire or whatever you call it. So let's see. I'm gonna do the copy clone junk. Be nice if the little handles were there automatically. I'm gonna click on it again. Now, I know that the Gamescom was going on for the last few days, and I've been kind of expecting to hear some new information about the upcoming uh, content release, which we've been calling Drop 6. I'm sure there's an actual official release name for that, but I think primarily it was like a press kind of release that they were doing, so we're just kind of waiting on until everybody's got all of their info straight, and I guess when Carbine or the higher powers that be say, okay, you can open the floodgates and tell them what we told you, then we'll hear more. But so far it's been pretty quiet on the WildStar front. I've been watching the Gamescom Twitter feed, looking for any kind of tidbits that might have slipped out, but really it's just been mostly about every other game under the sun besides the WildStar. So it's been kind of quiet on our front, which is disappointing for now, but I assume we're going to hear something a little bit more significant as we go. Really need to push that in a little bit. And with this. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. That's one of the reasons why I didn't really push my husband in trying to go this year. We went to the Gamescom event last year. They actually had a booth. I'm talking to Perilka, by the way. And thanks for the follow. I meant to mail you this morning and completely forgot. But we went there and they had a booth and everything. But at the time that we actually happened to stop by the booth, there wasn't anybody there. And we had to drop by later and pick up our little Gamescom cards. Well, I kind of wanted to do the same this year, but from what I could tell, there wasn't any plan that they were going to be even having a booth. I know they had a little discussion thread in the forum about, hey, if you're going to be in Gamescom, we'd like to meet up with you, but it kind of seemed kind of like a rushed kind of deal. I mean, they only did it like a few days before, and it's like, well, it's too late to plan that now because I didn't even bother buying tickets for this year. But yeah, I kind of guessed that it was just a press kind of thing. So fingers crossed they, let us hear some information this week. Because I know there's a lot of concern with like the loyalty program and how it's going to work. It's kind of in there in the PTR right now, but there's a lot of indiscrepancies as far as you'll have like two people that have been subscribed pretty much the same amount of time, but their loyalty point totals are vastly different. So folks aren't sure how they're like calculating that up or how buggy it is in the PTR and what all that means, how it works, and we just would like some additional information on that. So it'll be nice when they get that out to us. The only thing I did hear, sort of, and I didn't see them link an official thing. I mean, I think it was from the website, but it was, in foreign language that I couldn't read. But I guess the China WildStar beta is going to be popping up. I think it was August 20th. So there's some speculation that maybe our official open PTR or whatever will be unveiling at that time too, because currently it's just subscribed players that get to play around on the PTR at the moment. So I don't know. You would think they would need to speed that up a little bit, especially if we're looking for a fall release, but we'll see, I guess. Again, for those that aren't familiar with this little extra doodad here, that's Katya's Builder Toolkit add-on. Once you download it, all you do is type /Katya, which is her name here, in the chat box, and it pops up this little clever thing. I'm not the best one for showing an example of how to use it because I'm still kind of clumsy with it. I mostly use it for cloning purposes, and even then, sometimes it's not all the time. It depends on the situation. Because the cloning will, like with these floors, if you copy it and then clone it, it clones it underneath. So if for some reason you have most of the area blocked off and you can't really see what's underneath, it makes it a little awkward because, um, I don't know, it doesn't seem to select the right one, or it doesn't show it up properly or something, and it would be harder to kind of grab a hold of the one you want rather than grabbing the top one. So I don't use it probably as much as others. But I do find it a really handy thing, especially with the D shift. Kind of corrects that kind of quirkiness. I'm hoping Carbine will sort that out themselves, and there really isn't a big need for an add-on like this, but you know, until Carbine sorts that out, this is a very good alternative, very reliable. I do know they were giving away the Fancy Pants jacket codes over the weekend. I'm assuming they've stopped with that. I kind of figured it was like a Gamescom promotion thing that they were doing. I did get a chance to get one myself, luckily. But I'm hoping they provide other means of obtaining those codes, like maybe through their Twitch shows that they might do, which we haven't seen them do one of those in a while, which is the wrong thing. Just to give more people opportunity, because I know a lot of my guildmates were trying on the Twitter feed when they were giving them away there, and they were very frustrated because you had to really have some fast fingers. Oops. Click the wrong thing. Yeah, I don't know what Carbine is up to. I mean, we used to have the pretty regular Twitch shows, their Nexus report, and of course the 0 to 50, but I guess people were pretty abusive about the quality of that show, and they closed it off and promised that it would be coming back, or they would be bringing something back similar to that. But we haven't seen that. It's kind of disappointing because, you know, even with Tony being as kind of goofy as he was, it was at least some kind of interaction. Now it feels like we just don't have very much at all. But, you know, these days folks do not think twice about being super critical. It's like I was watching some forum talk about the WoW developer team. They've really been ripping them really bad about some of the way they've been handling their announcement of their next expansion, and it's like, it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If they say, hey, we want to talk to you about some of the new features, if they don't explicitly say, you know, we're not promising they're going to be there, but this is what we're thinking of, then people will nitpick at the wording and everything and say, you lied, because now it's not in the release or anything. And it's the same way with WildStar stuff. There'll be people will nitpick about everything, and it's a wonder developers want to talk to us at all, because it's like anything they say can be flipped around and misconstrued. I mean, I understand some of the frustrations. I sympathize. I do, because, I'm a player, I'm a payer, a subscriber and everything. And I want to see that new stuff as well, and see everything worked out hunky dory. But it's just, I definitely would not want to be in their shoes. Not because I necessarily feel like they're doing a horrible job of it, but I feel like no matter what kind of job they do, no matter what changes they make, if it doesn't agree with something one person feels, then that one says, well, they're not listening to us. But if they tweak it in accordance to something else, well, then they're listening to them, but then they're not listening to somebody else. It's like you can't please everybody, and it's a horrible position to be in, because you want to please everybody, you want to make a game that everyone loves, but it's not going to suit. And I've been seeing that over in the WoW community, and it reminds me a lot of. It's been a while since I really kind of lurked over there. Usually I just play, I don't really like watch the forums, but it was kind of bizarre how similar it seems between the two. I'm sure it's probably the same for other games as well, but I don't know. That's probably why I wasn't a developer of any kind. I would be working so hard to try and please everyone and giving them as much information as I can, and then have it all kind of be thrown back in my face when it doesn't work out exactly as everybody anticipates. Oh, as for the building over here, the bingo hall that we worked on, we did get a little photo shoot going over the weekend. Saturday was our second bingo bash event, so I asked my guildmates to drop by and we take some pictures. So got a bunch of those. Um, I have to tip my hat off to my guildmates. They're pretty tolerant about all of the junk I put together and force them into doing. I mean, I don't force them, but I kind of encourage them, and it's nice when they're willing to go that extra bit. I'll see. Trying to get this to not blinky, but I just don't want to. Oh, well, I guess we'll leave it like that. I don't like that line there, but can't get it as small as the other one for some reason. Guess I'll just tuck it under this. I'm glad I closed the window this morning, because there's a lot of semis and stuff going by for some reason. I guess somebody's loading up some foods. Anyway, was really happy that they were willing to come and take some pictures in that little bingo hall thing. They actually, I think most of them, if not all of them, stayed for the entire time that we did the bingo game. They just sat in the little chairs and chit-chatted and talked with each other. It was pretty fun. I didn't actually build it for that explicit purpose. It was just kind of a side goofy thing, but I guess never underestimate how willing your guildmates are to do silly things. Okay, let's line this up good. I don't like that. I may even try and get them to come to a little makeshift pool party, kind of like an end of summer kind of thing. Maybe do like a round, depending on how many actually participate in this month's CBDC. We might have several pools to go and visit, and we'll do like a little photo shoot in each one. You know, because it's always nice when you build something like this, especially if it's temporary, like how I like to do a lot of mine. It's good to take a lot of screenshots, some videos if you can, just to kind of memorialize it, you know, for that way, you know, when you have a little guild get together, you can say, hey, remember that time when we went to this and that, and just little things to kind of lighten the mood. Because, you know, even our casual guild, we kind of get into the routine of, you know, doing our dailies, doing the dungeon runs, you know, helping newer members with their like attunement and stuff. And then of course you got the raiding scene, and while all of that is fun and a lot of people enjoy it, and you know that's a good portion of why they're there, that can get kind of not old, but and not exactly stressful, but I mean it can really get old and stressful. I don't know what to say. It's just good to kind of break up that routine, to give yourselves some lighter moments, and doing little projects like this can sometimes be the catalyst that you need to kind of break that up. I mean, we do have role play activities. I know we had a couple of like things with like they'd go bar hopping, because we do have quite a few number of bars and stuff out there. So they would just kind of go from one to the other, and it's a great way for folks to see some of the houses that are out there with that particular theme, and see how each builder takes a different approach to the same, you know, general theme, but it, you know, you go into each one and it has a different atmosphere, and you know, some of them are classier than others and things like that, and some are a little more seedy and whatever, but you know, not everybody's into role play, and for my little get-togethers and stuff, typically I kind of keep it non-role playing. I have done a few role play things, but I kind of keep it non, because I know there's a lot of people that either aren't comfortable with it, not confident, you know, or they just want to not have to be worrying about, well, I got to stay in character and all that kind of thing. It's just for some casual fun. No, you know, hard, fast rules about, you know, behavior and all that. Almost done with this miserable trim. I'm probably going to regret that I even picked this, but I wanted something to look a little different. As I had another viewer say, oh, you need to change something about your walls because they're all the same. And I don't know, in little projects like this, I tend to use the same materials over and over, and it can get kind of boring, but now, while I didn't do any work on this over the weekend, which I have, you know, do my best to refrain from touching anything that I'm, you know, while I'm not on stream, because I just want folks to have the opportunity, if they want to watch from a project from start to finish, then, you know, they're not missing anything. I did that in the beginning, then I kind of felt guilty because I'd like say, well, while offline, you know, I did this and this and this, and I was like, well, it doesn't really show them how I did that, you know. So even though I didn't actually put any pieces together over the weekend. I did do a little bit of brainstorming, I guess, for what kind of items I might want to include for the pool. Now, when we do these little projects, primarily it's the item itself that we're wanting to focus on, but I do allow them to set a scene, I guess is a good way to say it. Like when we had the playground item that they had to build, and some of them built some slides, and a few of them did the things like those little rider things on the spring, and I think I did a merry-go-round. Generally speaking, most of them just kind of left it just that item, but a few, you know, they would like add little plushy characters sliding down the slide and things like that, just give it a little bit more life. So I think I'm going to do that. You know, usually I keep mine just the item itself, but I think I will try and do a kind of a setting the scene deal. But I was brainstorming for what kind of items I might want to be sure and include, like, do I want a slide? What kind of slide? Just a straight one, or do I want one of those, you know, curvy ones? Am I going to have a lifeguard chair? Am I going to put any kind of like floaty things in the water itself? Like an inner tube or one of those blow up raft things. Maybe have one of them, the little things snorkeling, because you know you always have that one person that's got the little goggles and the little poofer thing at the top, and they gotta swim around and freak everybody out. Maybe some lounge chairs for those that are working on their tan, that kind of thing. It's just some stuff that I've been running through my head. I've done a bit of Googling, looking up images, especially of the lifeguard chair. I wasn't quite sure how one of those looked. I know I've seen them at like community pools before, but not like I really paid attention to the actual construction of how it looks, and if it's the latter part just on the front, or is on the front and the back, how that works. Do they come with little umbrellas to protect the person has to sit up there all afternoon from the sun, or is it just, you know, what kind of stuff's on it or how it looks? I did do some Googling on that, but just little things like that. When you're working on a project like this, it's good to kind of figure out exactly what kind of details you might want to include to kind of help sell the idea of what you're building a little more. You know, it's one thing to build a picnic table, but if you put some foods and you know, other things on the picnic table, it makes it look even more like a picnic table. Same way with oh, I don't know, you're building a car, you know, if you want to make sure you include moving parts, like an exhaust pipe that wiggles and looks like the car's actually got their engine running or whatever, you know, that can help lift your build a little bit more. Now, with this being a alt, I don't know exactly what kind of plushies she might even have access to. I considered about using like some plushies of some like little NPC characters around the pool. I'll have to look and see if she's even got any access to any. Because I know a good many of them require a certain amount of reputation with different areas. Like you want the carrot plushie, I think it's from Whitevale, I think. And you have to have rep with them, and the alt that this is, I think she's only like 22, 23, something like that. So, whoops. And so that could pose a problem if I'm really wanting to dress it up a lot. It's one thing I probably limit myself quite a bit by not building these little projects on my main, but I use her plot for like full build kind of stuff, and apparently she's still got that miniature golf park slash um, subway station on there. So I was in fact looking to demolish that this week. I was really strongly considering it, and then they had that Geeks of Nexus decided to announce a housing contest. I thought, well, I'll go ahead and enter because, you know, even though I'm not really expecting to win anything, it's good to support little events like that, because if someone goes through the trouble of organizing an event but then doesn't have very many people even bother to participate, that can be demoralizing. And it's kind of the same thing I do with my guild when they have certain events, like if it's PvP. I could care less about PvP. I don't, you know, go around collecting gear for it. I don't pay attention to the builds that are, you know, proper for that. Yeah, there's some decor that I could probably get from it if I participated in it more regularly, but it's not a big thing for me. But I will go ahead and participate in PvP guild events when they pop up, because, or when I can, because, you know, that's being supportive of the person that took the time to put the event together. Same way with RP. RP's not really a big priority of mine, but I have joined in on a lot of RP events for that reason. It's not that I don't have fun with them. You know, I've enjoyed all of the events I've took part in, but first and foremost, it's to support those that are taking the time to organize it, to think it out. Because some of these events really, it does take a lot of time to plan, especially when it comes to roleplay. They have a lot of things that they have to think about, you know, and while they try to leave it kind of loosey-goosey and not so scripted, there are certain things that they have to have planned ahead. You know, if we're going to have specific interactions with certain characters and kind of things like that. But even a housing contest, that takes some organization, because then you've got to collect your judges, you know, those willing to go to all of the plots, however many that ends up being, at a certain time, and getting all of their point tallies or whatever, however they're going to do it, together and turned in at the right time. And then there's they usually have someone that's going, you know, be willing to go and stream it, or at least video it for all of everybody to see, and things like that. And it's just it's a big undertaking, and I thought, well, I've waited this long to change the plot theme. I guess I could wait another month. So my plan to change up the theme for my main has been put on hold for a little while. So we'll just be entertaining ourselves with goofy projects like this. Hopefully, folks don't mind that. See guildmates popping off and on. I know a lot of them, unlike me, I can come in just about any time I want, sort of, being a housewife and all, but a lot of them, they'll sneak in like a few minutes before they have to head off to work, check their mail, check the AH, and then they dash off again. Well, I think it was like 5 or 10 minutes ago I said we're almost done with this, but it's still going. Thank goodness I don't have any plans of getting super elaborate with the design of this thing, because at first I thought, well, I'm going to do like a curvy kind of build, and it'll be all nice and slick looking, and it's like, bleh. I knew that was going to pose some problems with some of the things that I was thinking about doing for this. I thought, no, I don't want to make it harder for myself. keep it simple, basic, and take up enough of my time as it is. I'll leave the fancy stuff to my guildies and they can wow me with that. Okay. Anyway, speaking of the housing contest, I will mention now, and I'll probably do it again when I get ready to leave for today. But for anyone that's on the Jabbat realm, it doesn't matter which faction, it's open to both. I would really recommend considering if you've spent any amount of time on your plot, giving it a theme, and you feel like you've, pulled it off. Even if you don't think you've pulled it off, if you've spent a good amount of time, I say give it a try. The worst that can happen is that you don't win anything, but it's good to put yourself out there because you never know what the judges are looking for, what will catch their attention. Because as much as everybody tries to be fair, everybody has their own personal opinion, and the judges are no different. There may be certain things that they think, wow, that looks really awesome, and when it comes to your own work, you're your own worst critic. So I say, even if you're not sure whether or not yours is good enough, if you've got a theme, going with it, it's not just a random bunch of stuff put out. If you've taken some time and really worked on it, I say, give it a try, because it's the worst that could happen is you end up being the same as you are now. Nothing changes. But if things work out, maybe you'd be a little richer when it's done. But if you're on Jabbat, check out the Jabbat Realm Forum section on the official forums for WildStar, and they have it listed there. They have a little copy paste kind of formula that you fill in, like ask for your name and your plot name and the theme that it has and any kind of extra information that you want to give about it. They even offer you a chance to give an actual tour to the judges so that you can point out anything that might not be like maybe you have a secret room or something, you don't want them to miss it. That would be a great opportunity to kind of say, hey, this is here, be sure and notice this. Or if you feel like you need to explain, maybe the purpose of a particular room or something, maybe it's something related to a specific TV show, I don't know. But it gives you an opportunity to kind of give a little extra explanation if you want. But I really recommend giving it a shot. I'm kind of self-defeating there because that means more competition for me, But like I said, the winning part for me is not like a big thing. I'm mostly doing it just to kind of support the persons that have put this together. They're, using their own money and their own materials for the prizes and stuff, and taking the time to set it all up and gonna go, host it and everything. So it's only, it's my way of saying thank you for your efforts by entering and without the well, I have to win. If I don't win, then boo on you. No, it's not like that. It's all in fun, good fun. Keep forgetting what I'm doing. That's partly me just being me, but I think that's what's slowing me down. Is I'll get to talking and I'll think, did I just copy that? Did I not copy it? We can see the end. It's getting closer, sort of. I know Entity just, I think their entries just closed. So I'm assuming their judges are in the process of going through the homes for that realm this week, next week, something like that. Had I been paying more attention and not so distracted by other things, I would have mentioned that contest earlier. Because I know that it's not just Jabbit folk that watch me, not just you sometimes. So I apologize for that for anyone that maybe missed out. But really, if you're gonna play a game like this and you're gonna, want to be in on what's going on with the community, definitely check out the forums. It's kind of like an annoyance of mine with some of my guildmates. They will join the guild, and then they'll like visit the forum once to say hi, I'm here, and then after that it's like they very rarely check, and I'm sorry, but that irks me because it's like it never fails if we have an event going on and people are talking about it in the chat, the guild chat, and there is inevitably at least one person that says, what, there's an event today? It's like, yeah, because we've been talking about it in the forums for like weeks now. There's like a sign up page and everything, and it's just, I don't know. It boggles my mind that folks actively, or I should say inactively, they just don't bother to keep themselves abreast of all of that information. I mean, I know a lot of guilds, they have like goofy, a lot of off-topic kind of stuff, but ours is pretty good about keeping most of it game related. We have a lot of guides that members have written up for specific like class builds, and we're all the time posting links to helpful information like boss guides, and I do a lot of housing information kind of stuff. We've got like a discussion thread about the new PTR stuff that's going on. And it just amazes me when folks act like they're totally oblivious to all of that. It's like, why even join the guild if you're not gonna be as involved as you can be? They just expect us to, keep them all up. Because, while we do have a guild panel in game, the little message of the day or whatever is like super small character counts, so you can't like fit everything in there. You have to really keep it basic, and we don't like, I don't think there's an in-game event calendar of any sort yet, so for all intents and purposes we're really driven by what we put into the forum. And granted, I know a lot of people hate our forum because of some of the quirkiness that it has. And last I heard, we're in the process of trying to set up a new one, but even still, it's, to me, it's an important part, and I don't understand folks not wanting to bother with it. So to me, it's the same principle with the WildStar forums. If you're going to play a game and you want to know what's going on as far as any changes that are upcoming, or just the overall discussion that, could involve how the game changes, and it could, affect how you play or your gameplay or whatever, you would want to be informed, right? Is that kind of a weird thing, weird concept? I don't know. I don't like this overlap that's here, so I'm probably gonna drag that down a bit. I kind of suspected that was gonna be the case when I first started it, but I thought, well, we'll see. But I don't know, maybe it's just me expecting a little bit more out of folks. Let's see, what is that? $88.93. All did it. I mean, it did, but it didn't. Let's try that again. When I moved it by punching in the number, it kind of moved other things too, so we'll just manually do it. So that'll probably make the other end a little wonky, but hopefully I can fix this so it looks alright. No guarantees. That's part of the fun and frustration of building. Especially if you're like me and you're not really like taking into account specific coordinate numbers and mathing it out like some do. You end up with a little quirkiness in certain places, and you just kind of take it in after that. Now, I haven't been on the PTR since last week as well. But I will see if I can hop on sometime later today and see if I can get into a plot that has the new Osun house. We had heard that there was one last week, but when we went to visit, we couldn't. It was, well, it said the player didn't exist. Now, we have that issue on live sometimes, where I'll like be going to tour somebody's place and I'll type in the name because that player does not exist. It doesn't matter if it's an actual guildmate that's currently online or not. Sometimes the houses just kind of act like they don't belong or they don't exist anymore. It's just a temporary bug, and it could be the same with that one, but I'll try and find another one that maybe will work for us. I know there's actually a video that's out showing it, and all I can say is, wow, the interior looks huge. There was just like so much space. It was just boggled my brain, because I mean, I already think some of the homes, especially like the bunker house and some of the others, when they, you get the spacious version, they're pretty big already, and this one just looks like it takes that to a whole nother level. It's pretty big. Now, I assume it just comes in the one style. It's not like there's a cozy version and a spacious version. I could be wrong about that, but I think it's just the one, kind of like the spaceship house, the Piglet. I think it's just, I don't know if they have plans of making different versions of that or not, but I do know there's a lot of disappointment that we don't have the Mordesh or the Makari homes yet. Now we have the Osun version, but I guess any new stuff's better than no new stuffs. Like we had someone asking in the wish list in the forum about wanting some snow-covered trees, and I made the comment that, well, actually we've got some of those coming. I said, that said, there's bound to be somebody that'll say, well, those particular trees aren't the trees that I want. I want these kind of trees and not those. Because, it's like I said, you can't please everybody, and while they're adding the new snow-covered bits, it's not going to be the right snow-covered bits. You know what I mean? But I just look at it, hey, a move in the right direction. I think they one time said that the idea is that eventually every prop that's in the game will eventually become a decor piece. I don't know if they're still sticking with that because it just sounds like an enormous amount of stuff, but it'd be awesome if that ever became, you know, a reality. But it's probably like a never-ending, never to be fully fulfilled kind of thing because, you know, they're always adding new stuff. And when they, you know, I'm talking about in the open world, and they only piecemeal the new stuff for us, so we'll never really catch up with the entire available kind of palette of goodies. I say never, I mean, there's always a possibility they'll really freak us out by having like just a full-on, total, nothing but housing kind of update, but I kind of think that would piss a lot of people off that were looking for other things besides housing, because not everyone's a nut like I am. For me, this is kind of my end game. This is where I spend most of my time when I'm done. Yeah, it's basically where I spend time is housing that. If I'm going to be looking at stuff in the forums or, you know, Googling up images, it always usually has to do with housing. Because, you know, that's what I enjoy. And of course, because I kind of make it my mission to kind of help others get into it, I spend a lot of time, you know, trying to get other people involved. Wow, I thought I was done with this and I just keep tweaking it. And like, can't leave it alone. It's just tiles, people. Ugh. It's another one of those, I'll never do a build like this again kind of thing. I think it's with this that kind of threw me off. But see if I can. Yeah, that looks better. Oh my gosh, we got it done. The trim. We still got the walls to do, but we do another reload. Kind of doing that funny lag thing again. Okay, so now what do we do? I guess we'll do the interior walls all the way around. Then we'll have kind of like sort of the pool kind of base foundation of it kind of set, and then we can start adding some extra details. Because, you know, another thing I was trying to think of was, you know, do I want like a metal ladder kind of thing that you would get into the pool, or does it have like those little built-in steps? And, you know, what shape do I make them? Do I want them to be the square kind, round kind? Is it going to be just the one corner? Is it going to be on the side? You know, there's lots of things you could be asking yourself with this kind of thing. I don't know. That's my answer. I don't know. Let's just one step at a time. Kind of. Okay, so now this is an example of where I don't want to use the clone. Or I find it more awkward because if I clone this floor, it will put the clone behind it. So I either have to hop around on this side and select it from here, which I can do. Or say I already had this boxed in at the back, and then there's no way for me to easily get in there and kind of select it. So then I'd be moving the front floor, I'd get it lined up, and then I'd have to readjust the other one. Like moving two pieces for one. So I'm just going to do it the way I'm used to doing it. For some, it'd be like frustrating because it takes a little more time, but I don't mind. So I need 4 pieces for this. And you see, when I do the copy paste here, it actually keeps the toolbars, whereas the other one, they disappear. If they stayed up, then that would probably alleviate my whole issue with the clone tool at all, but okay, I'm just going to drop this in, and then I'm going to take a closer look as to how I've got this lined up here. Kind of on the edge there. Let's see. That seems alright. Right? Yeah, because if I pull it out, then like part of the brown's here, but not there. So 1732. Okay. Let's see if I can make this work. That work? It worked! Oh my gosh. Sort of. Not quite. It stuck it at 38 instead of 32. I don't know. Maybe I typed 38 instead of 32, but it's close. You never know. Sometimes I think it's because of the way the ground is. That is something they've changed in the PTR at the moment. The ground here is kind of uneven. If you look, for those that don't pay attention to that, the ground is high here and low here, so that kind of affects how certain objects land. Even if you're copying this one exact, maybe the copy doesn't pop up here because it kind of doesn't want to put itself in the floor, in the ground. And that can affect sometimes where it lands when you copy it. It doesn't go exactly. But in the PTR, the ground is, from what I can tell, it's just perfectly flat. You know, it still has the shade and everything to make it look like there's some topographical difference, but it's pretty much just flat as a pancake. So there shouldn't be any issues if someone wants to cover their entire plot with a particular type of covering. There shouldn't be too much problem now. They won't have to have some really real high and then others kind of lower and all of that stuff to kind of even it up. Copy. I know I said paste, but it acted like it didn't register. Being cantankerous. There we go. We'll just see how it's gotten dark again now. I'm really relying on the light that I installed. You know, for some builds, that's that dark look is okay. Personally, I kind of get annoyed visiting all super dark plots because I don't like adjust my screen brightness and stuff as I visit homes, and it's like you're doing this like, well, I can't see nothing because it's so dark. Now others, they use the dark thing, but then they light it nicely so that I don't know, the darkness doesn't bother you as much, but others, I think they still have a little trouble working with that, with the limited lighting that we have and which ones to use and what works best for a particular theme. Or maybe they don't use the neon stuff, but they use something else and it just doesn't quite light the way, I guess. And It's just tougher on the eyes, but as a general rule, I prefer the ones that aren't super dark. Of course, saying that, I do have plan of trying my own kind of a dark plot eventually. For the most part, I've kind of steered clear of that because I'd already seen a lot of people do that, but you know, I haven't done it myself before, so I will probably give it a try. A Shades Eve themed kind of deal. Of course, with this contest up and me not at liberty to change my plot anytime soon until the judges are done looking around, I'm going to be limited on the time that I have to be able to build something for that particular holiday, but we'll see. I have some ideas on my head, but you know, ideas are one thing, trying to make them a reality is totally something else. Okay. Now, as you can see, I've lined these up so that these lines match these lines. Even though it kind of tucks it in and makes this actually shorter than the other. I'm going to do the same here, and so what I'll do is I'll just let's see, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 more floors for that side at least. And this is just the interior. I still got the outer side to do as well. Fun, fun, fun. We're just gonna drop these all here. And excuse me. And what we'll do is we'll just copy this one. And we'll rotate it up. Now, again, if you're going to build something like this, if you see that it's ending up not as deep as you want, now's the time to adjust that if you're going to, because you don't want to wait until you've got it completely built to change something that fundamental up, because while we do have the linking system, sometimes it can get a little squirrely and you might not want to risk having it completely go bonkers with your entire build. I have had it like in the past where it would like send half of the link stuff to the other side of the plot. Yeah, you want to, if you're going to make a change like that, like if I wanted to make this deeper or have like a deeper end and a shallower end kind of thing, now's the time to make all of those adjustments, because you don't want to keep filling this up with more and more decor and then realize, oops, you know, I should have done this or I should have done that, and just make it more work on yourself. I'm okay with this deep. It's probably not going to feel like a really big pool to, like, say, a Granok or something, but that's okay. They can just kind of wait around and things like that. Because again, mine is mostly just kind of to get the idea out there. I'll leave the special planning and clever ideas for you folks figure out on your own. Because I know there's probably a lot of methods of building and ideas that you guys could really you know, do better than I could. like, you know, I'll try my hand at like making a toilet or something, and then I'll go and see someone else, and it's like, wow, I didn't even think about that. How cool is that? Ugh, my eyes itching. Did I? No, I didn't. Did I? No. Thinking I copied it and I didn't. It's kind of coming together, kind of, sort of. Kind of, sort of, maybe. And again, if you notice, I haven't bothered with any kind of water yet. I'm saving that. That will probably be like the last thing that goes in, because the water I'm going to be using is the glass, and there's collision on it, so it's not like you can actually swim around in or look like you're in it, you know. So there may be ways you could kind of get around that if you kind of fake it in a little bit, but it's unfortunate we don't have, you know, I would say like water building blocks. Now I say that, and in the new PTR stuff, we are getting some a river feature and some waterfall features, but again, they have very defined shapes. Oops, wow, that's really out there. The river's really curved, and it wouldn't lend itself to this kind of a shape at all. You would have to like layer in several of them, so then the water movement will look kind of funny and stuff like that. If we just got some, you know, had some squares and triangles and circles of the walls, I would like the same of the water. Because then, you know, if you build a sink or a tub or, you know, whatever, that would lend itself better. And same way with the pools. But, you know, I'm hoping that with the river and the waterfalls that are coming, that's a sign that, you know, eventually we'll get those things. But who knows? It's just like it would be great to have like terrain brush capabilities where you could just say, hey, I want a cobblestone path going this way and that way, and maybe change it to a dirt path here, and then another one is a paved path, rather than having to use all of these floor pieces for just the terrain. Then you could use just paint it on. But I know that's probably not practical, I guess. There's probably a lot of things going on in the background that we just aren't aware of, that makes it kind of impossible or more difficult. Like they've said for a long time that, you know, while the decor count is fairly limited, and they've been slowly upping it, and in fact we're going to be getting a really big increase if you're willing to purchase it with this next drop. But they've often said that there's certain, you know, things to do with like the rendering issues or whatever that has kind of kept that reined in more than it probably, you know, folks would like. So I'm sure there's folks that would just really say just make it unlimited, but probably not really realistic to think about if they're wanting to keep it so that, you know, someone doesn't build something so outlandish that anytime someone comes into their plot, it just crashes the game or something. That would be kind of bad. And I'm sure that's part of their thinking as to the limitations that we currently have. So, I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses or anything. I'm just saying, you know, I can see from their perspective as to some of the reasons why it's the way it is. Okay, so that's 3 sides down. We're going to go ahead and fill in this other side, and then we will probably call it good for today. I do have a lot of things that you know, while I do say I have a lot of free time, a lot of that free time is filled in with, you know, other things I have to contend with. So let's see, I think it was 9 pieces. I can kind of quit dragging this out and speed myself up, but still talk, then I might work a little bit on the outer edge too before we go, but I have a feeling I'm too much of a slowpoke. It'd be like, you know how they have those videos where they like do the time lapse where it's like, mine would probably still be like super slow even in that, because I'm just, I don't know, I'm just, I'm bad about that kind of thing. Like my husband makes fun of me when we've been downstairs watching television, and then I say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go upstairs. He usually purposely makes a big show of like waiting a long time, because inevitably if he tries to head up the stairs the same time I do, he usually gets stuck behind me because I'm like slowly waddling my way up the stairs. And what he usually does is he goes, well, you know, I'll do this and this and this, and inevitably he'll like catch me when I'm just at the top of the stairs, and he goes, you're still here, you know, aren't you upstairs yet? And it's like, well, I'm getting there, but I'm slow in just about everything. So, but part of that is because I've grown to be more cautious, because I'm fairly klutzy when it comes to certain things. I can trip on dust. So I tend to take my time especially when it comes to like stairs and stuff, because, you know, I don't want to end up falling down the stairs or falling up the stairs. I've done that a few times to learn that, you know, I need to take my time going up them. But I guess I'm that way. Even when I cook slow, which is not necessarily a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing either, but when you got a lot of people going food, 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 and you have to really plan ahead on that. Like when we make pizzas, I'm usually the last one to get mine into the oven, because it has to look so. I don't know. I mean, pizza's just a pizza. You're going to be stuffing your mouth with it. It's going to be gone in a few minutes anyway, but still want it to look nice. My son's kind of taken up that habit too. He like has a certain routine of, you know, in the order that he puts the toppings on his pizza. He's got a specific order. So he doesn't really like it if we volunteer to make it, if he's kind of busy, and we'll say, well, we'll make yours, and that way it'll be, you know, ready when dinner comes. And he'll like, no, because we'll do it wrong, you know, because he likes to put his sauce on, but he does the edges first, and then he works his way into the middle, and he does the strokes a certain way, and it's just like, I don't know, watching a painter do a portrait or something. He's very precise about how he wants it on there. And then he does the cheese, I think it is. Yeah, cheese is next, and then there's a certain order. He does like the white cheese first, and then the cheddar cheese, and then maybe a sprinkling of Parmesan sometimes, not always. Then he does the meat, I think it is. And then it's the olives, and then it's ready for the oven. And like my husband and I, we do ours sort of the opposite. We do the meat first, and then we put the cheese on top. But he likes his with the meat on top because he says it reminds him mostly of, like, I guess Pizza Hut. I think their pepperoni's on the top as well. So yeah, I'm not the only one that's slow in the family, but I guess it's just a weird quirk. I don't know. I end up talking about food a lot here. I don't know why. I think it's probably because I usually do these streams kind of early in the morning. I really haven't. I'm not a morning person, so I tend to kind of either skip or eat a really light breakfast. And I guess by the time 9, 10 o'clock starts rolling around, I'm already thinking about lunch. Oops, I copied the wrong thing, didn't I? Yeah. Oops. Ah, that's cool. Okay, 2 more pieces. We can do it. We can do it. I hope I don't make people like motion sick when I'm building, because I just throw my camera around and zoom in, zoom out, zoom back in, and zoom back out. But that's just so I can better see what's going on. So I run out of files. I guess it was 10 that I needed. Well, ended up one short. We will fix that. But you know, when you get into this building stuff, you just kind of get into a rhythm and just keep going with it. There we go. So there's interior part more or less complete. I may add a drain in the middle, but those little details will come later. They will come before the glass is installed, because anything I want like inside here, you want to put that in before you put the glass, because like I said, the glass is a solid thing, so you one, you can't like swim through it, but also you can't click through it. So every time you want to adjust something underneath the glass, you have to move the glass and adjust, and then put the glass back. And we're going to just save that for the very last, if we can. So now it's just left with the exterior wall. I guess we can go ahead and do that real quick, just to call it done and done. Let's use Katya's for this one part at least, just to kind of try and speed it up a little. And since I should be able to get to it over here, it should be all right. Copy, phone. I can see, I'm just twirling my camera around. I apologize if it's like really getting to anybody, but Let's see. What is that? I always forget to look at what I'm putting it as. Okay, 1261. Well, let's remember that. Oh, oh, for crying out loud. 61, I want 61. It's just not giving it to me, is it? See if I can force it. No, that just made it worse. Ah, there we go. That's right. You give me 61, mister. Okay, let's just copy clone this one. Shift and bring that over here. Same way here. Now, if you notice, this looks like there's a bit of a gap here. I'm going to try and make sure that it doesn't have a gap. That means this looks a little askew here, but maybe that's all right. My carrot, he's gone to the corner. He's been a bad carrot. Okay. We'll do the same with these here. Just copy, clone. Oops, wouldn't let me do it that time. Yeah, I did. There, but act like you didn't want to. Might have been because I was standing too close. That is a problem sometimes. If you're standing too close, it'll act like it doesn't want to. $93.21. Yeah, I didn't want to do it. Try that again. Was it 21? I think it was. Yeah. Like the right one, please. Ugh. Let's see, which one? Okay, pick the right one. No, I think it moved this one. There we go. Yeah. My bad. I noticed this one's sticking up the top here. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. I just hope I'm pulling out the right ones here, because yeah, that looks okay. Imagine the trouble this would be if it was curved. As well, for one, I'd have to go through that horrendous, huge list of hover park decor. As those would be probably the best ones to use if you're going to make a curved kind of pool. The problem with that is wooden. That's one. And who wants a wooden trimmed kind of pool? You don't really see that unless maybe, I don't know, hillbilly pool or something. And no offense to hillbillies, I'm a hillbilly myself, so I'm making fun of myself. But I don't know. Those particular tracks, those pieces, they have a lot of nice curves that would probably lend themselves very well to having a curved pool. And like say you want a kidney-shaped pool, or one, I don't know, even a circle pool, those pieces would really be pretty good. Now we do have some curved walls of the Oran and other types that would also lend itself well to like an actual round pool, but if you're really wanting to get some kind of organic shape going that not follows a particular kind of route, whatever, the hover park ones would probably be the best to go with, even if the actual texture isn't exactly swimming pool material. You could probably make it work nicely. That's my opinion anyway, but I just didn't want to get too elaborate because I know I have a lot of things going on, and I wasn't for positive that I would have a lot of time to dedicate to this, and I do want to have something finished, so I wanted to keep it simple. Although it looks, you know, massive compared to what I was thinking of. I didn't want to make, you know, like a little kiddie pool, but I wasn't really purposefully intending to make a Olympic size pool. But hey, that's what we got, so we'll work with it. Oh, for crying out loud. There we go. Wow. Get that thing to very nicely line up. Okay, there we go. So that's most of it. We just got that back wall, I think. Yep. So let's what is that at? 5437. Make sure I got the right one here. Yep. I promise we're almost done with this. a few more pieces, and then we'll call it good for today. Oops. Doing it the old way. Come on, give me 37. I saw it. I saw it. There it is. There we go. Copy clone. Drag it over. Make sure the corner's nice. Good enough for me. Same here. Again, looks like there's like a small bit of a gap there, but I'm going to, and it's not there. Okay, so we have the basic foundation of the pool in place. We're making some progress, slowly but surely. We still got about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks to work on this, so I'm sure we will get it going pretty good. It's kind of weird because the way the rendering goes, it almost looks like some of these are hollow if you get out too far. Yeah. So any big shots, you know, distant shots is going to look a little weird. I'll have to make sure I take it from the center than from one end, because otherwise it looks like some of it's missing some pieces. Something to keep in mind. And that's mostly just because of the scale. The further away, the fewer the pieces are properly. Okay, so that's it for today on the swimming pool build. Again, I know it's like we really didn't do too much, because I mean it essentially looks the same as it did before, but it's this little foundation stuff that you really gotta, that looks like kind of gappy. Gotta fix it. Can't leave it like that. Anyway, you know, this is just part of the building. You've got to have the basic structure set before you can start adding all the little pretty little details that will bring the build to life. So we have the pool done, but it's, you know, it needs some tender loving care, and we will get to work on that later in the week. Probably tomorrow, actually. We'll get to start on some of the extra details, like the ladder or the steps, the lifeguard chair, some lounge chairs, that kind of thing. I do want to mention again, if you're on Jabbit Realm, it doesn't matter if you're Exile or Dominion, it's open to both. Geeks of Nexus is holding a housing competition. It's in the Jabbit PvE subforum of the WildStar official forums, and you can recognize it. It's pretty close to the top of the listings. It's Geeks of Nexus housing competition. It's called the Construction Championship Clash Extreme, or the CCC Extreme. You know, there's a little form that you fill in or copy paste, and then fill it in with like your character name, the plot owner name, the name of the plot, the theme, what faction you're on, of course, so they know which side to go looking, and all that good stuff. Let's see, I think the deadline for entries is, I want to say September 4th. Let me double check that. Yes, entries will be accepted no later than September 4th. So you have a good amount of time to work on it. I mean, especially if you're kind of in the middle of a theme and you aren't quite sure if you'll have it done, you still have some time to work on it, but definitely get that sorted out so that you can enter. And for some of those that are a little bit more proficient at the building tools and stuff, they could probably whip something up from scratch in the time that we've been given. But September 4th is the deadline, and then I think judging goes on from then until the 18th, and on the 20th, Geeks of Nexus will be having a live podcast to announce the winners. But you can find all of that information and all the links that you might need on their thread that is on the forum. So definitely, yeah, it's more competition for myself and some of my guildmates that are entering, but hey, the more the merrier. It might make the judge's job a little more difficult, but you know, go and show your support for your Jabbit realm. And support for the community, especially the members that are willing to put these kind of events together. It's no small feat to do that. I'm an avid event organizer myself for my guild, so I know that it takes some work and planning and stuff, and it's good to let them know that, hey, we appreciate them taking the time to do this. And so yeah, enter if you can. Also, you know, good luck to the entity side for those that are in their competition over there. I think they're currently in the judging process right now. I'm not sure about the dates on that, but good luck on that. And maybe eventually Carbine will consider holding a full-on, all-encompassing kind of competition for folks, because while not everybody's into housing, housing is definitely a big selling point for the game, and they can really cash in on that, so to speak. Anyway, there's that. We've got Exile Tours coming up on Wednesday, 1 p.m. CEST time for that, as usual. I've got 2 or 3 already lined up, and I'm going to be doing some random tours before then to try and grab a few more, because I always like to have plenty of extras in case something goes wrong with the visiting. But also, again, I will try and check out some more PTR stuff, and if I can come across anything that looks nifty, like maybe some more folks have played around with some of the new stuff and kind of can show off the possibilities for that, I'll definitely stream a little bit more of that if I do come across some, but no promises on that part. I think that's it, though. It's just going to be swimming pool on the off days, and tours on Wednesday, and pretty much that for at least for the end of the month. But we'll see how it goes between then and there. If something else comes up, if I start a new project on the side just for the heck of it, I'll be sure and let you know and let you tag along. But anyway, I appreciate those that have been tuning in. I appreciate all my followers. It's a nice pat on the back for me to let me know that I'm doing something right, that people, you know, are interested in watching what's going on. Again, for folks that, you know, watch this, if there's anything specific that you feel like it's missing or things you would like to see, feel free to lend your suggestions, because I'm all ears. I can't guarantee that I'll incorporate all of the suggestions, but you know, I will certainly take them into account when I'm setting up different little programs and ideas and things. Yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys have a great Monday. Probably not the best day, because you know, a lot of people are coming off of their weekend fun and back to the grindstone on Monday, but I hope you enjoyed anyway, and I hope the weather is good for you, and I'll see you